Hi everyone. I recently had a question on how could someone validate if a datetime control was selecting a date time after 12 p.m. today. So we're going to jump into the new responsive designer. Now this is applicable to Office 365 or Nintex Wi-Fi Cloud. Now I'm just going to clean up this form. I'm just going to get rid of all these controls. We don't need everything here. And all we really need is a date time control. However, I often like using a label control so I can test out some of the functions and variables I'm using as well. So the first thing we want to look at is we'll insert the variable. We're going to call it midday today because we need to know when is midday today, or we need that as a property today at midday. So we need to say date now, and that's contextual to right now when you're opening the form. So let's have a look and see what that actually does. Now, making sure that you're selected the correct variable type, which is date time, we'll go and create and insert that. Going to preview, we can see it's Friday, November 27th, 2020 at 10:57. Now, what we want to do with this variable is when someone selects something here, we want to compare this to this variable. However, what the requirement was we need the variable to say midday today, not 10:57 or any other time. So how do we manipulate that to make sure it's always midday today, right now? So what we need to do is do a format date. Format date, there we go. And I'm just going to get rid of that and put that down there. And so just explaining the syntax a bit more, let's format this. So what we're doing is we're formatting a date, and we might just put the comma there. So your input is I want to format this date, which is date now. It could be a date variable, it could be a datetime control, but right now we're using the date time now, which is also a date time data type. And what you can then do is format date. If you wanted to come to learn more about that, you come to here. And the handy part about this help is you can actually just copy some of this stuff. You go format date, end date, which we've got our date now function, or constant, I guess you could call it. And what I'm going to do is going to copy this. Now you could use any syntax of the date time formatting that you're familiar with. It's pretty standard. Now what we've got is DD, MM, YYYY for the year. But what we're going to do is we're going to cheat a little bit and put the hard-coded time in. So 12 p.m., not AM. So we need 12 p.m. today in the, I guess you call it the afternoon. AM would be in the morning. So now we've got format date, but it's still saying the date time doesn't match. Now that's because the format date returns a string. It was a date time data type. We format it to this string format with the format date function. But then what we can do is we can actually grab that syntax, that format we had, and convert it back to a date. So go convert to not string number, but date. Take the end bracket off and put it down to the bottom. And now we're in the right data type. So once we go to update, let's go to preview, and here we go. Friday, November 27th, 2020, 12 p.m. And obviously it's my time zone, so it's plus 11 GMT for daylight saving time. Now we've got that. How do we then validate this input is before midday today? So what we need to do is go to rules, and you won't be building a form rule, you'll build a submit rule. So go to add new, and what you can do is check the date. Now there's a few ways you could do this. You could do something like date time is after insert, and you could put your variable in here. So a simple one would be something like that. If the date time is after midday today, then the date time show validation error is please select a time before 12 p.m. today. Now that was the requirement, basically, just to restrict them from submitting something if the time is after today, 12 p.m. So let's go and create that rule, go to preview, and let's select, I forgot to put the time component in there, so let's go back, and hide time is false. Go back to preview, have a look, and we select our today. 11:01 is good, so I can press submit. Now once I go 12:01, press done. Please select a time before 12 p.m. today. So that is as easy as it gets. Now I could actually show some other examples how you could do functions and those sort of things, but I think for the sake of simplicity, this is what I'd recommend if you want to restrict a submission in a daytime control to before midday today. Hope you find that helpful. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to have help with something else or like to see something else in the videos. Cheers.